Hey fellas, Lee here with Jonah and Jesse.
Hey ya!
Hi!
We three amigos love video game music, different styles for different reasons, but we all really enjoy a good song. Matter of fact, one of the things we appreciate most about a game sometimes is its soundtrack, so we figured we would take a minute and talk about some of our favorite video game soundtracks of all time.
Yeah, so normally we would do, you hear these soundtrack things, you'd see a top 3, or be looking for a top 3 or a top 10. Actually, we've narrowed it down to a top 2.
Wow.
So the way we're going to do this, I know, we're just amazing. We're each going to go through our runner-ups, the 3 of us, and then after that, we are going to go to our top pick favorite soundtrack of all time, and then after that, each of us is going to do a rapid fire of honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut.
There's too many to choose from.
There are. Oh my gosh.
Hey fellas, it's Jonah, and my runner-up is Super Mario Odyssey. The music very much shines atmospherically and is well integrated in the gameplay. Some of the sound effects are even tuned to the music. The thing that makes the music for me in a game is the way the game uses the music and integrates it into its atmosphere and gameplay. One of the most obvious examples of the musical integration is when you ride an electrical wire. Super Mario Odyssey is the first game that I knew had this kind of musicality, and I noticed it while playing.
Wait, what do you mean by the electrical wire? Like when it's the
Yeah, so it tunes that notation. It tunes that little tune to the notation of the music.
Whoa, wait,
Yeah.
that's playing in the background?
Yeah, same thing
Depending
with-
on the area that...
Yeah,
that
same
is
thing with coins.
insane.
It's most obvious in Bowser's Castle. Bowser's
Okay,
Kingdom.
I've
Yeah.
not made it that far.
Okay.
That's
And
awesome.
same thing happens with coins and stuff too. It's
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
They've actually been doing it for a long time, but I just first noticed it in Super Mario Odyssey. They've been doing it since 3D Land, I think.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I think I'd actually
It's mostly been like the coins and the one-ups and stuff. They would tune that to the music.
I've kind of noticed it.
Yeah.
I think I noticed it
You
in the
really,
way that...
you don't notice it much. It's like really subtle.
Oh, I
And so,
know.
like-
Anything more than subtle would kind of interrupt the
Yeah,
flow
exactly.
of the gameplay, and it's perfect.
But see, they do it like way less subtly in Bowser's Kingdom, and I think it's just because the music in that kingdom is really incredible and like super. And each time that you go on one of the electrical wires, it's like a shift to the next area, and so like it's really cool.
Hey, it's Lee. My runner-up is Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask is the oldest game I can ever remember playing. My brother got it in like 2001 or so when I was 4 years old. The game's visuals are eerie and dip into the uncanny valley, but it's the deranged sounding music that I still think about today. I don't know if it's the synthetic instruments or the weak system that they initially made it on, but the audio just oozes with nostalgia for me. Memorable melodies and irresistible peculiarity are the defining traits of this original soundtrack.
Can we just talk about Last Hours for a little bit?
Oh my gosh,
That-
intense!
That one specifically, like Last Hours is just like, you will never see me an hour before a college paper deadline. We'll go to YouTube and pull up Final Hours.
I think my favorite song from Majora's Mask is the dancing song. Because it's so weird and fits the
super
atmosphere.
weird.
It fits the atmosphere. Well, it doesn't really fit the atmosphere. It has something extra that's eerie about it that doesn't exist in a lot of the other music.
Majora's Mask
And
being
so, like,
extra.
I feel like it's really it hits the eerie spot a little bit more, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
In my senior year of high school, I listened to the Majora's Mask soundtrack, and that was like one of the few songs that I just immediately skipped as soon as I heard the first few notes. I'm like, no. It was like too weird for me.
What a
And
whim.
I know, right? So, I'm Jesse, and my runner-up is Xenoblade Chronicles. Xenoblade Chronicles, I don't know how the heck you want to say that. If you've played Smash before, then you probably know Shulk, and he's the protagonist of this game. And thank goodness he was included in Smash, because otherwise I wouldn't have ever had the chance to play this beautiful game. Like, the story is amazing, probably the best I've seen in any game that I've ever played so far. The characters are awesome, the gameplay is excellent, but the music perfectly matching the grand scale of adventure that takes place on the deceased bodies of two mysterious, enormous titans, that shines brightest to a lot of players that I've talked with. So the soundtrack as a whole consists of a whopping 6 different composers, including Kingdom Hearts' Yoko Shimomura and Chrono Trigger's Yasunori Mitsuda, who's also largely known for his work on Xenogears and Xenosaga. Whether on the frigid shoulder of Bionis or the complex robotic interior of Mechonis, each location of the Titans is expertly accompanied by this music. What makes this around 90-song soundtrack my runner-up is the combination of Manami Kyota's, forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong, her beautiful environmental themes like Sotoro Marsh Night, with exceptional battle themes such as the very popular You Will Know Our Names. ACE Plus, the musical trio who composed the majority of the battle themes, definitely gets the spotlight for crafting arrangements, merging epic orchestral instruments with driving metal rhythms, an uncommon style that I didn't know was my favorite music style ever until I heard it. So overall, it's an emotionally captivating soundtrack to accompany one of the greatest JRPGs of all time.
Really, like, this few songs you showed me is like really powerful, and some of them are beautiful.
Well,
but, like, they're like just
you guys are more drawn by atmospheric tunes,
typically.
whereas I'm more of like I said, the ACE plus tunes that are not like rock or metal, but just that strange style that we talked about, and especially Xenoblade 1. Oh man, there's so much atmospheric amazement. I really would recommend Sotoro Marsh Night. You guys need to hear that for sure.
Yeah. I've heard it before. I definitely like it.
Alright guys, my favorite is Doom.
Woohoo.
Doom is the best case of musicality in games that I've played, and this might be surprising considering one of the musics is literally a chainsaw.
What?
Did I say one of the musics?
You did.
Dagnabbit.
You mean
That's staying in.
One of the instruments is literally a chainsaw. The song you just listened to was an action theme on Mars, and the music on Hell is completely different in Doom. It's more atmospheric, and a lot of the even action parts are a lot more atmospheric, and that's a song that you'll hear just now. Each song in Doom has a few different versions depending on the situation, such as a version for a song for combat and another for atmosphere.
Oh.
The music also changes or possibly speeds up when you're doing glory kills, and it makes you feel really cool when you're doing that. The real reason that I have Doom ahead of Mario Odyssey, though, is because I just really like Mick Gordon's instrumentation. And that's also why he's in my honorables as Prey.
Spoilers.
Hey, come on.
Spoilers for the honorable mentions.
No, he
Come
did.
on,
He
man.
did. I was debating putting Prey as my runner-up as well, but I really liked what Mario Odyssey does with the music, and I didn't want to put two of the same composer in my runner-up and winner. Doom is incredibly cool. I like to listen to it as well as play it in the game, and that's something that is not super common for me with music in video games.
It was a tough decision, but I finally landed on my favorite being Pokémon Red. My absolute favorite soundtrack had to be Pokémon Red for me. It was the first game that I ever owned and completed myself. Pokémon Red version has a very simple set of beeps and buzzes that compose its tunes, but its entire soundtrack embodies the very essence of 8-bit music, in my opinion. Everybody at my job knows the song you're hearing right now, not because they've ever played the game or anything like that, but because I whistle it constantly. That and most of the other songs in this game. I haven't played through Red in about a decade, but I'm still humming the tunes everywhere I go. And that's not an exaggeration. I've sung the songs like here already.
I never grew up playing Pokemon.
Yeah, I did.
So the first time I ever heard the it was you. I was like, oh, that's cool. And for some reason I tied it to some other similar theme, and you were like, no, it's Pokemon. You got real mad at me.
Pokemon. Come on, get it right.
Alright, so my favorite soundtrack of all time is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That's why I had to laugh when Jonah, when you mentioned like wouldn't want to put Mick Gordon here twice. I'm like, yeah, you wouldn't want to get too much Xenoblade. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Okay,
just
so
put the same game twice.
it's not the same game.
I know, it's a joke.
Okay, look. So before you completely label me as nothing more than a biased Xenoblade fanboy, let me explain something about myself. Hey, okay, listen. I kind of sort of mentioned this before, but my favorite style of music is orchestral instruments arranged in a metal-like manner, which often comprises of fast-paced strings accompanied by electric guitars and drums with ridiculous syncopation. So in my early teens, my favorite song ever was the final boss theme of Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which first introduced me to game music with fast-paced strings. Then years later, Xenoblade 1 featured fast-paced strings plus electric guitars and drums. Bam, new favorite style.
Yeah.
Unfinished Battle became my favorite song for a long time. Then Final Fantasy 15, never got to play it because no PS4, but I love the soundtrack due to the similar style. However, outside of Xenoblade and Final Fantasy 15, I could never find more music with that particular style until last December when Xenoblade Chronicles 2 came out and I felt right at home again. So what makes Xenoblade 2's soundtrack stand out to me more than that of Xenoblade 1? Well, simply put, ACE and Kenji Hiramatsu specifically went overboard in this game, contributing way more blood-pumping themes to the soundtrack overall as opposed to that of Xenoblade 1. Their music is so good this go-around to the point where I'd even argue that they outdid themselves. Tracks like the main battle theme, You Will Recall Our Names, yeah, I know, they're riding off of their own hype. And especially More Ardain burst with confidence, determination, danger, and adventure. Though it also has some amazingly catchy area themes and beautifully memorable story themes, it's Xenoblade Chronicles 2's adrenaline rush tracks that earned my #1 spot.
Moving on to honorable mentions, mine are Prey, Wario Land 4, and Metroid Fusion.
And for my honorable mentions, I've got Sword and Sorcery, which you're hearing now, Kid Icarus, Uprising, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Wind Waker, and Celeste. I had a lot to choose from.
You almost cried when you moved Sword and Sorcery down to honorable mention.
I know, it's so hard.
And my honorable mentions, brace yourself, are Final Fantasy 15, Persona 5, Fire Emblem Awakening, Kirby's Return to Dreamland, Diddy Kong Racing, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Super Mario Galaxy 2, and Mega Man X.
Yeah, it was funny because when we had the idea to do this video, you were like, I've got all these ideas, and I was like, wait. Give me a second.
Well, to me, I was like, I know my favorite.
Yeah,
and then it was like, what else?
I was like, I've got to give Jonah like half of my honorable mentions, but he hasn't listened to half of these. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening. Like we said, this is a favorite list, so a lot of this is tied to nostalgia and what we've experienced, so we're all really curious. What are your favorite soundtracks of all time? We're gonna go ahead and be very gracious and let you leave your top 3 in the comments.
So gracious. So anyways, that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, like it. If you loved it, subscribe. And if you love me or any of us, hit the bell. And if you actually care at all, John, then share it with somebody, you know? So have a great day.
Keep being the way you are,
unless you suck! End this crap already.